The artificial dawn of Galactic Fleet Academy's orbital station breaks like it always does, with a blaring of alarms that would make Earth's old war sirens sound like lullabies. I roll out of my bunk, hitting the deck with practiced precision, while my roommate Vridax, a towering Celaxian with powder blue skin, groans from his reinforced sleeping pod. By the 7 moons, Chiron, must you humans always move with such enthusiasm this early in the cycle? His secondary eyelids flicker in what I recognize as their version of a wince. Rise and shine, big guy, I say, already halfway into my cadet uniform. Drill day. You know how Commander Glistith gets when we're late. I'm Chiron Vorst, 3rd-generation spacer from the mining outpost of Ceres, and one of only 12 humans at the Academy. When Earth finally crawled out of its gravity well and made first contact, the galaxy collectively flinched. Not because we were hostile, plenty of species have tried the whole conquer the stars routine, but because we were classified as Deathworlders. Turns out growing up on a planet with 1G gravity, temperature swings of over 100 degrees, and everything from microbes to megafauna trying to kill you produces some pretty hardy specimens. The intercom crackles. All 4th-year cadets report to Simulation Deck Theta 9. Immediate deployment. This is not a drill. Vridax freezes mid-dress. Not a drill, but the schedule. I snort. It's definitely still a drill. They just want to see who panics. We sprint down the corridor. Well, I sprint while Vridax lopes along, his elongated limbs making 2 of my strides. We pass cadets from a dozen worlds. The crystalline Phasians, levitating slightly off the ground. Quad-armed Netherans fumbling with uniform clasps. Even a lone Mithridian whose gelatinous form ripples with stress patterns. The simulation deck doors slide open to controlled chaos. Commander Glistith, a veteran Tauralian with skin like weathered granite and 4 piercing eyes, stands on the central platform. 2 of her eyes track us, while the others scan a holographic display. Cadets, her voice resonates through the chamber without needing amplification. The supply station at Novice Relay has gone silent. Initial reports suggest possible raider activity. You will form response teams, secure the station, and rescue any survivors. The alien cadets shift nervously. Raids aren't uncommon in the outer systems, but they're usually handled by seasoned officers, not cadets. Team assignments are on your datapads. You deploy in 10 minutes. My datapad buzzes. I'm team leader for Strike Team Epsilon with Vridax, a Serenian named Lixith who can see through walls, and fantastic Throxtal, the most aggressively hierarchical carbonite in our class. Human. Throxtal's mandibles click disapprovingly as he approaches. His exoskeleton gleams under the lights. I have 13 more cycles of tactical training than you. I should lead. Take it up with command, I say, already studying the station schematics. For now, we need to focus on our approach vector. Throxtal's antennae flatten in the carbonite equivalent of a scowl, but he falls silent. As we board our simulation pod, a fully functional shuttle that never actually leaves the station, I notice something odd about the mission parameters. They're too detailed, too specific for a standard drill. Vridax, I whisper, does anything about this seem strange to you? He blinks slowly. Besides the fact that you mammals are always sweating nervousness pheromones? No. I shake my head and strap in. Just keep your eyes open. All 6 of them. The pod doors seal, and the simulation begins with a lurch that feels too real. Either the Academy's engineers have outdone themselves, or something else is happening. Something they're not telling us about. Either way, I've got a feeling this drill is about to get very interesting. The drop feels real, too real. Our pod shutters through simulated atmospheric entry toward Novice Relay, a sprawling supply station orbiting the gas giant Bellerin 4. The swirling orange-purple mass of the planet dominates the view screen, beautiful and terrifying. Approach vector locked, I announce, hands dancing over the controls. Throxtal, weapons check. Lixith, scan for life signs. Vridax, systems assessment. Contrary to what most species believe, humans aren't just brute force. We're adaptable. While I can't see through walls like Lixith or process multiple data streams simultaneously like Throxtal, I've spent my life learning to read situations, to adapt, to survive. Minimal power signatures, Lixith reports, her translucent skin pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. Life support is operational, but communications are down. Weapons primed, Throxtal adds with entirely too much enthusiasm. Carbonites evolved from hive-minded predators. Conflict resolution for them typically involves mandibles. The station looms ahead, a dark silhouette against the gas giant. I notice unusual damage patterns, precision strikes rather than the haphazard destruction typical of raiders. Change of plans, I say. We're going silent approach. Dock at Maintenance Airlock Delta 3 instead of the main bay. The commander specified Protocol Theta 7, Throxtal objects. Main bay approach, standard formation. And if this were real, that protocol would get us killed, I counter. Look at those damage patterns, too precise. This isn't random raiding. Our pod lands with a soft thunk against the station's hull. I activate the magnetic seals and gesture to my team. Suit up. Full Atmo gear. Vridax gives me a concerned look. The station readings show breathable atmosphere. Humor me, I reply, sealing my helmet. Call it human paranoia. We breach the airlock, moving in formation down dark corridors, lit only by emergency lighting. The simulation designers have outdone themselves. There's even debris floating in the zero-G sections, and the occasional spray of coolant hissing from damaged pipes. Movement ahead, Lixith whispers, her specialized vision penetrating the bulkhead. 7 figures. Armed. I signal the team to halt and activate my suit's thermal imaging. The figures are moving with military precision, not the chaotic patterns of raiders. Something clicks in my mind, a pattern recognition that humans excel at. This isn't a raid, I mutter. It's an occupation. Before my team can respond, a proximity alarm flashes on my HUD. Something's coming, fast. I drag Vridax and Lixith into a service alcove while Throxtal flattens himself against the ceiling, his natural camouflage activating. A patrol of raiders passes, but there's something off about them. Their movements are too coordinated, their weapons too standardized. And one of them has a distinctive gait I recognize from training exercises. After they pass, I gather my team. This isn't just a drill anymore. Those aren't simulated enemies. They're academy instructors playing raiders. Impossible, Throxtal clicks. The parameters clearly state. Forget the parameters, I interrupt. They're testing more than our response to the scenario. They want to see if we can adapt when things go sideways. Vridax's skin pales to a lighter blue. So what do we do, Chiron? I smile behind my helmet. We change the game. The objective isn't to secure the station. It's to recognize the true threat and neutralize it appropriately. And how do we do that? Lixith asks. I pull up the station schematics. We're going to capture the command center, but not from these raiders. We're going to take it from the other cadet teams. Throxtal's mandibles spread in the carbonite version of shock. That violates every protocol. Exactly, I say. And that's why it'll work. In a real crisis, sometimes the rulebook goes out the airlock. As we move deeper into the station, I explain my plan. The other teams would be following standard protocols, making them predictable. Meanwhile, the instructors posing as raiders would be herding cadets toward predetermined safe zones, which would actually be tactical traps. If we take control of environmental systems first, I explain, we can use them to our advantage. Lixith, how precisely can you sense other life forms? Within 3 meters, I can tell species and armament. Beyond that, just general presence. Perfect. You'll be our early warning system. The plan forms in my mind, utilizing each team member's strengths. We're going to need them all to pull this off, especially when the other teams realize what we're doing. As we approach the environmental control hub, Vridax suddenly stiffens. Chiron, I just realized something. If this is a test of adaptation, what if the instructors are expecting someone to try exactly what we're doing? I pause, considering this. Then we'd better make sure we do it better than they expect. The environmental systems hub is eerily silent when we enter. Screens flicker with status reports, but there's no sign of the personnel who should be manning them. Perfect. Vrydax, seal the door. Lixith, perimeter scan. Throxtull, help me with these systems. I'm not a tech specialist, but growing up on mining stations means you learn how everything works or you risk breathing vacuum. My fingers dance across the controls, bringing up station schematics, life support readings, and, most importantly, the location of other teams. 7 cadet teams deployed, I mutter. 3 already in position at designated secure zones. 2 moving toward the command center. 1, they're not following protocol at all. Throxtull leans over my shoulder, his antennae twitching. Team Omega. Their leader is Yukrith, the Severan. I nod. Severan are natural strategists, evolved to hunt in complex underground tunnel systems. If anyone else would spot the inconsistencies in this drill, it would be him. Lixith anything? 2 life forms approaching. By movement pattern instructors, not cadets. I grin. Perfect. Vrydax, prepare cooling protocol Epsilon, 9 for that corridor. Vrydax hesitates. That would drop temperatures to near freezing instantly. Exactly. Most spacefaring species are adapted to consistent environments. Humans, coming from a planet with extreme temperature variations, have a significant edge in temperature swings. Just for 10 seconds. When the raiders round the corner, they're hit with a blast of frigid air that makes their movements sluggish. Before they can react, Throxtull and I are on them, relieving them of their weapons and comm devices. Sorry, Lieutenant Draxus, I say, recognizing one of our combat instructors beneath the raider disguise. Class is in session, but we're teaching today. Using the captured comm devices, we intercept the instructor communications. The picture becomes clear. This is an advanced evaluation, testing which cadets can recognize when protocols must be broken to achieve mission success. Most teams are falling into predetermined patterns, making them easy to predict and counter. Team Omega is heading for the command center ventilation access, Lixith reports. Let them, I decide. We're going for something bigger. The plan crystallizes in my mind. The station's normal command center is the obvious target. But according to these schematics, there's an emergency backup command node, and I bet that's where the real control lies. Vrydax studies the map. It's heavily secured, and probably where Commander Glistith is orchestrating this whole scenario. I add, if we can capture that position. Throxtull's mandibles click with surprising approval. We wouldn't just win the drill, we'd end it completely. Using environmental controls, we create diversions throughout the station. Pressure fluctuations, lighting failures, brief gravity disruptions. Nothing dangerous, but enough to confuse both instructors and other cadet teams. We move through maintenance shafts and emergency access tubes, bypassing the main corridors where raiders and cadets are engaged in simulated combat. When we encounter other cadets, we quickly explain our theory and recruit them to our cause. By the time we reach the emergency command node, our original team of 4 has grown to 10, including cadets from 3 other species. United by a common understanding that this drill is testing our ability to think beyond conventional tactics. Outside the command node, I gather our expanded team. Remember, these are our instructors. Disable, don't harm. And Throxtull. No mandible strikes, he clicks reluctantly. Understood. On my mark, I say, checking that everyone is in position. 3, 2, 1. We breach the door from 3 different access points simultaneously. Inside, Commander Glistith and 5 other instructors look up in genuine surprise. Exactly the reaction I'd hoped for. Cadets, Commander Glistith begins, recovering quickly. This area is restricted during. With respect, Commander, I interrupt. The station has been secured by joint cadet forces. We've neutralized all hostile elements and established control of critical systems. Her 4 eyes blink in rapid succession, the Turalian equivalent of a shocked double take. Explain your reasoning, Cadet Vorst. The scenario was designed to test our adherence to protocol under stress, I reply. But the true test was recognizing when protocols become a liability. No real raider group uses Academy tactical formations or Academy standard weapons configurations. A slow smile spreads across Commander Glistith's face, a rare sight that makes even Throxtal straighten to attention. "Very good, Cadet," she says. "But capturing the command node doesn't end the exercise." I smile back. "No, but what I'm about to do will." "All station systems now under cadet control," I announce, as Vrydax and a brilliant Phasian cadet named Iridius secure the command node's primary interface. "And I've just locked out all instructor override codes." Commander Glistith's expression shifts from approval to concern. "That's beyond the parameters of this exercise, Cadet Vorst." "With respect, Commander, real enemies don't stay within parameters either." I activate the station-wide communication system. My voice echoes through every corridor, every room, every simulation area of a massive training facility. "Attention all cadets and instructors. This is Cadet Chiron Vorst of Strike Team Epsilon. We have confirmed this scenario is an evaluation of adaptive thinking under pressure. The Raiders are Academy instructors. Standard protocols are intentionally flawed for this exercise." I pause, knowing my next words will change everything. "All cadet teams are hereby ordered to cease following standard containment protocols and converge on these coordinates. We're consolidating our forces for a unified response." Commander Glistith stands motionless, her four eyes fixed on me with an intensity that would make most species flinch. I meet her gaze steadily. "Bold move, Cadet," she finally says. "But what makes you think other teams will abandon their assigned missions on your word alone?" "Because humans aren't the only species that value survival," I reply. "And right now, I'm offering the clearest path to success." Within minutes, our communications begin lighting up as team after team acknowledges the broadcast. Not all respond. Some are too committed to protocols, others too suspicious of our claims. But enough understand what's happening. Strike Team Delta acknowledging. Medical Team Sigma converging on your position. Engineering Team Theta requesting coordination details. Throxtal's antennae quiver with excitement. They're actually listening to you. Not to me, I correct him. To logic. To survival instinct. Every spacefaring species has that in common. As cadets from across the station begin arriving at our position, I establish a command structure that plays to each species' strengths. Serenian sensory teams for perimeter security, Carbonite strike forces for direct confrontation, Celaxian and human mixed teams for adaptive response. The instructors who had been playing Raiders soon find themselves overwhelmed, not by superior force, but by unpredictable tactics. Traditional training emphasizes responding to specific threats in prescribed ways. We're changing our approach with each encounter, adapting strategies mid-engagement. They've captured Lieutenant Mazrel, Lixith reports, her bioluminescence flashing with excitement. And Instructor Dobbin just surrendered to Team Gamma. Commander Glistith watches this all unfold on the command center displays, her expression unreadable. The other instructors, with her exchange concerned glances. "This has gone far enough," one of them mutters. "We should terminate the exercise." "Not yet," Commander Glistith replies. "Let's see how far they take it." I turn to her. "With respect, Commander, we're just getting started. Your Raiders still control the main hangar and primary life support. But not for long. Using the station's internal systems, we create a series of cascading false alarms in non-critical areas, drawing instructor forces away from their actual positions. Meanwhile, our unified cadet teams move in precision formations to secure true objective points. 3 hours into what was supposed to be a standard 4-hour drill, we've captured every instructor except Commander Glistith and her immediate staff, who remain in the command node with us. Technically, our guests rather than prisoners. Impressive coordination, Commander Glistith acknowledges. But what's your endgame, Cadet? Even if you control the station, this is still a training exercise. I smile. Is it? Because I think it an object lesson in how Deathworlders approach conflict. Explain. Most species evolved to follow rules because their environments were predictable. Earth was never predictable. We learned that survival sometimes means rewriting the rules entirely. I pull up the station's master control interface, and I believe it's time to end this exercise on our terms, not yours. I turn to the assembled cadet leaders from a dozen different worlds, all watching with various expressions of anticipation. Ready for the final phase? The atmosphere in the command node crackles with tension as I prepare to execute the final stage of our plan. Commander Glistith watches with professional curiosity, her 4 eyes narrowing slightly. The Academy has never lost control of a training exercise, she notes calmly. There are fail-safes you cannot possibly know about. Probably true, I admit, nodding to Vrydax, who's working furiously at a console. But we're not trying to beat your fail-safes. We're changing the nature of the exercise itself. I activate the ship-wide communication system once more. Attention, all remaining instructor forces. This is Cadet Vorst. We now control all primary systems, communication nodes, and strategic positions throughout the station. We have captured 23 of your personnel. Pausing for effect, I continue. We are prepared to offer terms of surrender. A murmur runs through the gathered cadets. Even my team looks surprised. Offering terms wasn't part of any training protocol. Cadets don't dictate terms to instructors. Ever. Commander Glistith's granite features crack into what might be amusement. Surrender? To cadets? That's not how these exercises conclude. Vorst. With respect, Commander, that's exactly my point. The purpose of this drill wasn't just to test our response to raiders. It was to see if any of us would recognize that sometimes victory comes not from following the scenario to its predetermined conclusion, but by redefining the scenario itself. I gesture to the assembled cadets, a diverse collection of species, physiologies, and evolutionary backgrounds. Every species here evolved different survival strategies. Carbonites, like Throxtal, developed hierarchical precision. Serenian vision adapted to see through solid objects. Salaxians like Vrydax evolved incredible durability. I step forward. But humans? We survived not by specializing, but by generalizing. Not by perfecting a single strategy, but by recognizing when to abandon failing strategies entirely. The station's main screen flickers as Iridia, our Phasian tech specialist, completes her work. It displays a simulation of the station's environmental systems, showing how we've created secure zones with precisely calibrated atmospheres ideal for each species represented among our cadet forces, while making other areas uncomfortable but survivable for instructor species. We're not just demanding surrender, I explain. We're demonstrating why surrender is your most logical option. Commander Glistith studies the display, then turns all 4 eyes to me. You've leveraged environmental controls as a strategic asset rather than just life support. A very human approach, I acknowledge. We come from a world where the environment itself is often the greatest threat. We learn to use it rather than just survive it. The commander activates her personal communicator. All instructor forces stand down. Terminate exercise protocols. She straightens to her impressive full height. Congratulations, Cadet Vorst. This is the first time in Academy history that cadets have forced a scenario conclusion outside of design parameters. Relief and triumph flood through me, but I maintain my composure. Thank you, Commander. Though I can't take full credit. This was possible only because each team contributed their unique evolutionary advantages. And yet, she observes, it was a human who recognized the pattern and orchestrated the response. Perhaps that is your species' true evolutionary advantage, not your physical adaptations, but your cognitive flexibility. The command node erupts in cheers, each species expressing joy in their own way, from Throxtal's mandible clicks, to Lixitha's luminescent pulses, to Vrydax's deep rumbling laugh. As the celebration continues, Commander Glistith pulls me aside. The galactic fleet has existed for 12,000 years, Cadet Vorst. We've encountered millions of species, but few have surprised us the way humans consistently do. Is that good or bad, Commander? Both. Neither. It simply is. She gestures to the jubilant cadets. Look at what you accomplished today. You turned a competitive exercise into a cooperative victory. You made surrender the logical choice rather than forcing conflict to its bitter end. I understand what she's saying. Humans aren't just Deathworlders. We're Paradox Worlders. We're aggressive yet empathetic, competitive yet cooperative, individualistic yet community-minded. There's a reason humans were invited to the Academy despite your Death World classification, she continues. The galaxy is changing. New threats emerge that don't follow 12,000 years of established patterns. We need species that think differently. So this whole exercise was about us, about humans. Not originally, she admits. But your response has transformed it into something far more valuable, a lesson for everyone involved. Later, as the station systems return to normal and cadets disperse to their regular duties, my team gathers in the observation deck overlooking the swirling surface of Bellerin 4. I still don't understand how you knew, Vrydak says. What made you suspect it wasn't just a standard drill? I shrug. Patterns. Inconsistencies. Things that simply didn't add up. But how did you know others would follow your plan? Lixith asks, her skin pulsing with curious light patterns. I didn't, I admit. But I knew that intelligent beings across the galaxy share one universal trait. We all want to succeed. I just offered a better path to success than the one we were given. Throxtal, who had been the most resistant initially, clicks his mandibles thoughtfully. Among my kind, we have a saying. The strongest hive is built on the strangest foundations. Perhaps humans are the galaxy's strange foundation. I laugh. Maybe. Or maybe we're just stubborn enough to try the impossible. As the gas giant storms rage silently beyond the transparent aluminum viewport, I reflect on what Commander Glistet said. The galaxy is changing, facing threats that don't follow established patterns. Perhaps that's why humans, unpredictable, adaptable, pattern-breaking humans, were finally invited to join the galactic community, not despite being Deathworlders, but because of it. In a universe of order and pattern, sometimes you need a species that evolved in chaos to find the path forward. Sometimes surrender isn't defeat. It's the recognition of a fundamental change in the game itself. And changing the game? That's what humans do best.